Welcome to probably the most bucket episode of Beerfield Fantasy Football ever. I am your host at Hot BFF with two P's, Chris Hopper, coming to you from one more time in St. Louis, Missouri. My last episode in this location. Next time you guys see me will be from a temporary space in my new home. Joined by Thury BFF, Dan Thury.
What's up, guys? I played 3 rounds of disc golf today. It's been good. I didn't play it very well, but it's fucking nice outside, and I'm just reveling in all the winnings I've had in all my prop bets. Like I've almost cared less and less about fantasy, and more just trying to find more ways to make money while gambling.
Betting's fun and fantasy's hard.
It's like
it was a weird week.
I can control. I can't control, but I feel more I feel confident about X player. I'm just gonna do some prop bets and do some parlays if I can. And
you're just turning it into quicker fantasy money. I've almost completely shafted DFS.
I do 2 lineups, and I've gone even the last 2 weeks. I haven't made money in DFS. I think I've lost money in DFS.
I always lose money in DFS. That's why I stopped playing. All right.
Pretty much.
Okay. Yep. Right on. Beerfield Fantasy Football, Twitter, YouTube, at BeerfieldFF. Some new faces and stuff on the live stream on Sunday, so that was pretty cool. Be sure you subscribe, hit the notification icon to figure out when we go live. It'll maybe Dan, maybe me, maybe both. You don't know. But you can find out by doing that. And my internet connection is pretty crap right now, but whatever. It'll be okay. But
that's why we do it live.
Yeah, if you find the YouTube skipping around as it did a couple weeks ago, be sure to subscribe to audio. Because we do audio too. iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, wherever. All right, cool. Let's do a show. By the way, I say this is the most fucking episode ever because we didn't script anything, and for the first time in 311 episodes, we have nothing to go on. Normally, we'll at least have a shell of what we're going to talk about, the news written out, I pre-write some of my jokes, etc., etc. Not this time. This go around, we're just kind of winging it because I had to work late. I had a hard start of 6 p.m. at minimum for the show because of other things I have to do. Our commitment to bringing you content every week is, pretty unfaltering. Our commitment to it being good content, well, that's a little different.
It's 2020. Is there really good content? Because I feel like every time you go on Twitter, people are attacking people based on victory laps that shouldn't even be taken.
I haven't even been on Twitter, and I'm barely there.
It's so just like... It's like, oh god, Joe Mixon truthers, Josh Allen truthers, and everyone's like Raheem Mostert. Oh, who knows? It's like, dude, it's funny. Like, no one can stay healthy. We have our first real test of COVID with the Titans, and I'm just over here not even caring as much about fantasy. At least redraft, dynasty, I'll always care about. But
yeah,
when we get betting, when we got betting, I felt I care more about my bets than I do about my redraft leagues, besides Scott Fish.
Yeah, redraft is still fun because you get to do it every year, but man, yeah, anyway.
What's fueling Beerfield?
You told me the episode title was so off-center. All right, Dan, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Maple Woods Strawberry Mr. Shaky, or as they say, Mr. Shaky Strawberry. This is the strawberry variant of their Mr. Shaky Vanilla Milkshake series.
Okay, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I got... you're going to be in town tomorrow, right?
Yes, I will be at Benny's tomorrow.
All right, I will bring in... I got a couple beers to get to you then.
So sweet. Yes, I will be there tomorrow evening, so I don't know what you work, but...
They're until 6.
Okay, I should make it before 6. So
if not,
I'll let you know.
Andrew will be there, and then I'll just have him give you the beers.
Okay,
I'll bring them with me. So
I'll let you know when I leave Collinsville. I mean, it should be like 3:30ish, and I've got one stop to make on the way there. So, okay. And I can honestly just make that stop on the way back if I don't do it tonight. So, on-air plan meeting. So I should be there before 6. Should be there like 5-ish.
What's up, Darren? He is enjoying a glass of Jim Beam Black.
Atta boy.
Nice. More bourbon.
Fun thing about Jim Beam Black, by the way. So the bourbon group that I'm part of, we just did a double blind tasting with Old Forester Yellow Label and Jim Beam Black and I forget what, like 2-Star, which is Total Wine's house brand, which is, you know, kind of hilarious. And I forget what the fourth one was. It was Jim Beam Black, Four Roses Yellow Label, 2-Star, and Old Forester 86. So Old Forester 86 won that. Jim Beam Black, though, good showing as well. So just a little fun tidbit to things I do in my free time. We did double blind tasting, including Jim Beam Black.
It's awesome.
Extra aged. Anyway, I am back to beer because it is now October, and to be honest, most of my bourbon's at the other house. So, I said I wanted to get to fall beers, and that's what we're doing. We got Dino S'mores from Off Color today. It's Imperial Marshmallow Stout. Have you had this one, Dan?
I want to say I was supposed to, and then live studio audience drank it. I think that's the beer that you were supposed to let me have when it came down last, but she drank it before she knew that you were going to get it.
I don't see it in Illinois all that often, but it's pretty readily available at my stop over here in Creve Coeur, so I'll grab you one at some point.
Okay.
Imperial Marshmallow Stout, though, exactly what you'd expect. They put everything on here that they use in it, which is kind of a nice thing Off Color does, but what you need to know: marshmallow, vanilla bean, molasses, graham flour, which is to have the graham cracker taste, cocoa nibs. It's basically a s'more stout, as the name would suggest. More on that as we get into the show. So, let's get into the fun part, which I will be reading off of Roto World, generally speaking, as we scroll through it. I was having a discussion with my cousin, Dan, and I figured this would be a fun way to start the show, given our undying love for Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien has been fired. So, I wanted to pose the question to you. Was he a worse GM or coach?
GM. That's like his trades, because I think he was involved with the trades last year when they traded for Tunsil. They gave up, I swear they gave up multiple firsts, at least one first.
Yeah.
To get Tunsil and Kenny Stills from Miami. I want to say it was a first and a second, at least. They traded Clowney last year for 2 fucking backup linebackers and a 3rd-round pick, and then obviously his trade of Hopkins. Like that in itself, he should have been fired after Hopkins, not a loss to the Vikings.
Yeah, he the coaching isn't what bothered me. I think it was just that the organization kind of set him up to fail by putting so much on him. He never should have been GM though. I was part of the points my cousin was making when I was discussing with him was, some of the good pieces that they have, and it's true. The Texans do have some good pieces. Will Fuller, Deshaun Watson, but then you've got veteran pieces like J.J. Watt on the downside of their career. You bring in Brandon Cooks, who's been very, very good. He's been banged up to start the year, hasn't taken on like, we thought he would. Defense is not great outside of J.J. Watt. They let Clowney go. You don't really have another fantastic pass rusher there at this stage. J.J. Watt being on the downswing of his career, linebackers aren't great, secondary is not great. Get to you in just a second, Fragger. And I don't. It was the drafting and the roster construction that was more curious to me than the coaching. The offensive line was essentially ignored. A lot of holes. So the question was, I dropped Russell Gage for Kenny Golladay. What do you guys think about that? I think that if Kenny Golladay was out there on waivers, that's the right move.
Yeah, like, you're basically spending whatever you can to get Golladay. Like, these are the type of moves you want to see happen with other owners in your league who are in desperation mode. Gage has been a bright spot, this year, as the wide receiver 3 for Atlanta, but he dropped a 3 for a 1 who has top 12 upside. on each and any game. So yeah.
Hey, speaking of not paying attention to redraft leagues, Dan, did you see who was? I probably shouldn't tell you this, but I don't think it matters because it's not blind bid. Did you see who was floating around out there on waivers in the garbage time league?
No, I have no clue.
Chris Godwin and Julian Edelman.
What?
Yeah.
Huh, I guess I should pay attention more.
Yeah,
shout out to Garbage Time.
Yeah,
these guys are awesome.
Good guys over there. Yeah, he says you don't know why he was in free agency, but he was there. That's exactly how I felt when I came across Godwin and Edelman, and it's like, there's been so many injuries to start the season. I think some owners are put in a spot, especially if you're in a league where there's not really IR spots, that you've got to make some tough decisions like that, or to pick somebody up, and maybe they felt a multi-week absence wasn't worth holding, and they're playing to win now instead of long term. I don't know. It was kind of the same thing I had. So, but yeah, no. Anytime you see somebody like a Kenny Galladay out there that's going to be long term good and has proven good over a couple years, versus a guy like Russell Gage who's been around the league and is just now kind of flashing because Atlanta's defense is terrible, you go for that.
Yeah.
Would you guys give a first for Swift if you're rebuilding?
No.
I
would keep Swift. Swift is already. So I saw a tweet out today on just 31% of snaps. Swift is averaging over 10 points a game.
Give a first.
Keeper. Would you give a first? I'm sorry.
Yeah, would you trade a first to get DeAndre Swift?
Yes, I would. It may cost you more. I would almost see if you can trade a second and a player that's been really good, like a James Robinson. If you have James Robinson, or if you have Jarrett McKinnon, see if you can piggyback off a guy who has limited value in Dynasty that's been really good now and flip him in a second for Swift. But I would still give up a first for Swift. Swift is a generational talent, and I do not see Matt Patricia as the head coach of that offense.
And Adrian Peterson isn't the long-term answer. Swift is going to get his chance.
Neither is Kerryon Johnson. And Swift has been very productive with this.
Kerryon Johnson's fine as a complimentary piece. He isn't the long-term answer to be a three-down back.
No.
Yeah, I don't think Kerryon Johnson, because of his injury problems, saying nothing about his talent, because we like Kerryon here, is going to be, ever more than a 12 to, a 10 to 12 touch a game guy. I'll let you read the comment because I'm not sure if it's a question or not. I'm going to move on to the next topic.
I think it was just a comment. Okay. He traded Hunt for Zeke. It's gonna look pretty even to bad now. Hunt's gonna get a lot of runs. Zeke just doesn't get the overall carries because Dallas is so bad and they're always playing from behind. But Zeke just has better insulated value for Dynasty.
He does. And even in redraft long term, I mean, you're looking at a 8-week absence for Chubb, so into the playoffs. But, you'd rather have Zeke for a playoff run than Nick Chubb, I think.
I think you're fine. I think
okay.
That's a good move. I had an offer in Dynasty. It was my hunt for A.J. Brown, and that was even tough for me to say no to because I love A.J. Brown.
I'd rather have Zeke anyway, so that's a good trade. Sonny Michel going on injured reserve. Speaking of backs finally getting their chance, and a corresponding move, Damian Harris was activated. So we'll get to see what he can do in a Brian Hoyer-led offense.
Now, again, he's only out for 3 weeks. Again, we got to stress that IR for this season is 3 weeks, and they're unlimited. So
right. Now, saying this about Michel,
I'm not saying it's good for him.
One really good week. Couple bad weeks. Damian Harris comes in, performs. This is what you've been waiting for if you're a Damian Harris owner, is for him to get the opportunity to come in and perform. Dearness Johnson
got a lot of work.
He got a lot of work, yeah. I mean,
as a backup to the problem is there's 3 running backs in that backfield now with Hunt, Johnson, and there's another guy that was getting run too. I can never see.
Yeah, Johnson picked up more of what Chubb's work was going to be, though. I think it's worth throwing a waiver claim at. I'm not going to run out and trade for Dearness Johnson because it's so short term, but it's worth. Hilliard, Dontrell Hilliard.
Yep.
But it's worth throwing a waiver claim at Dearness Johnson if he continues to get Nick Chubb's work and they don't just give it all to Kareem Hunt, which I don't think is going to happen. So. I think a waiver claim for Dearness Johnson is probably worth it. The other thing to remember, though, is that they were up that game. So I would, be measured with that one.
I would. I'd be a little careful with both. Hunt, like you just mentioned, they were up, for the majority of that game. It didn't get close until the end. And the game script was really for both Chubb and Hunt will have a full week to kind of implement Hunt as a full-time guy. Yeah. I wouldn't spend a high waiver claim on Johnson. I would not spend a lot of fab on Johnson or Hilliard until we kind of see more. Let somebody else make that mistake and just kind of wait and see how Stefanski kind of divvies up the running back shares in week 5.
Yep. All right. Anyway, Damian Harris' point was just essentially that you've been waiting for this if you've been holding Harris or you're a Harris owner. So, yeah. No, sad news. Jets waived Kalen Ballage. Sorry, I'm literally reading off of Roto World right now.
I know. I'm
again, no script this week.
It too.
Oh, I thought you were like somehow seeing my screen.
No.
Yeah.
Or am I?
Maybe. Jets waived Kalen Ballage. That's not sad. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reports Austin Eckler, grade 2 hamstring strain, week 4 loss to Tampa Bay. He'll miss 4 to 6 weeks. We've seen before with Los Angeles, it's next week up. So this does not mean that Joshua Kelly gets all the work. This means it's Joshua Kelly and Justin Jackson now. So Justin Jackson, Joshua Kelly, if they're available, they're both worth a waiver claim because we have seen this happen a ton in Los Angeles, but especially last year. It's next man up. It is not all of this work is going to go to this person now.
Josh Kelly got the big game in week 2 when he had 20-plus carries. He hasn't done much since then. He's been a bit of a bust.
Yeah, it was okay week 3. Not good last week, but again, they were throwing a bunch.
I don't... again, it's just like with Hilliard and with Johnson. Just don't spend too much. If he's out there, I expect Kelly to probably be on rosters. I'm waiting to see how this splits up too. I think the role should fit similarly. Kelly's a bigger back. Jackson's about the same size as Eckler.
Yeah.
I just want to see how it plays out. And I don't know if his offense is good enough anyways to want me to be excited about the main running back in this core.
At this point, if you need running back help, you're excited for anything you can pluck off waivers, and that's who I'm talking to. You're obviously not going to go, I'm 4 running backs cheap, let's go out and grab Justin Jackson. But if you need running back help and you're plucking waivers for something that's going to hit, or for something that you can maybe plug in that has some flex value, then that's when you're looking at Josh Kelly or Justin Jackson, just because there's going to be opportunity, and that's all you're looking for at this point off your waiver wire is opportunity and a bit of upside. We've seen Justin Jackson have success when he's had to fill in the past before for either Eckler or Gordon, and we know how this functions, so he's at least going to get some form of touches. So
it was a pretty ugly game for both, too. It was 8 touches for Jackson, 12 for Kelly. Both of them were pretty much non-existent in the running game, and both of them offered something in the passing game.
Again, Chargers from behind, making it a game late. So that's the other thing. Game script was not in the running game's favor for that one.
They were ahead until. It was a mix.
It was kind of a mixed bag.
Just don't get too excited. Just don't get too excited for either.
Yeah, don't get too excited. But again, it's opportunity. So.
True. Yeah, Darren, I was super pissed off about the Rams game. How the fuck do you only score 17 points against the Giants?
I answered for somebody on Sunday to go Stafford over Goff because was that you, Darren? Yeah, I told somebody to go Stafford over Goff.
Well, he played Goff over Stafford, so
I thought
it wasn't. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you're wrong. Who knows?
I think it was. Yeah, maybe I'm misremembering what I said, but I told somebody on Sunday to go Stafford over Goff in the Sunday stream because I didn't like the game script for Goff to have to throw a ton or have a ton of volume. I liked it a lot more for Stafford.
The whole offense was terrible.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp had a decent day.
He had the lawn touchdown.
Yep. That's all you need. Hindsight is always hilarious. Houston Chronicle reported Bill O'Brien is expected to call plays for the rest of the season. Apparently not.
Yeah. He called his own firing, maybe.
Yep.
That was his final play he called.
Ryan Fitzpatrick still going to be the starter. Christian McCaffrey still out one more week. Austin Eckler, we already talked about that. Nick Chubb on injured reserve, going to miss several weeks. Reports I saw were 6 to 8. We kind of hit on this earlier, so I don't think there's a need to rehash that other than Nick Chubb's going to be out. Dearness Johnson, worth a low waiver claim again if you need running back help. If you're looking to replace Nick Chubb, you could also make that dart throw. Or Dontrell Hilliard.
A lot of juicy matchups coming up during the time. Hunt, in my opinion, is an RB1 moving forward, if not a top 7, top 6 back in fantasy.
Yep. Okay. Brandon Cooks ran a pass route on 39 of 40 dropbacks. Devontae Adams is out tonight, by the way. Actually, we can talk about Monday night games because they haven't kicked off yet. Devontae Adams is out. So Alan Lazard's on IR. That leaves, Marquez Valdez-Scantling? Because I think ESB's on IR, too.
He is, yeah.
So
you have MVS, you have Sternberger, and you have, of course, Aaron Jones.
It's going to be an Aaron Jones-Robert Tonyan game is my prediction.
So gross. Oh, God.
Congratulations to Aaron Jones for rushing for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Oh, maybe. We'll see how much Atlanta gets up and then squanders it away in the fourth quarter.
Any word on Julio Jones? Yes. Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley are both expected to play as of earlier today. So
they have about another. They may already be out. They have about another hour, I think. Actually,
you said out, and I'm like, what? And you're like, inactive.
No,
you're talking about inactive list. Yes, they're both expected to be active and play as of earlier today. Jones and Ridley both are. They got unlimited practices Thursdays, Friday. I think going on Monday actually helped them out a lot. We'll see for sure. Probably before the end of the show, we'll have the inactives. But as of right now, both expected to go.
All right. Should we jump into these games?
Yeah, some of the review. I think that covers all the injuries and stuff. I'm pretty sure.
I think it was all the major. We got Chubb, Eckler, and then I guess with the
Bill O'Brien. Yeah, Bill O'Brien firing guys that were playing today. I talked about Cam Newton being out on Sunday. So, okay, yep, let's get into some of these game reviews. So, Denver and the Jets, I think what this game taught me is that the Jets are just fucking bad. Like, I expected Denver to struggle with Brett Rippon at quarterback, and, Rippon didn't, he was kind of terrible, but the Jets are that bad, apparently.
I'm so shocked that Adam Gase hasn't been, like, the fact that Bill O'Brien didn't last as long as Adam Gase is a travesty.
It is.
O'Brien deserved to get fired, don't get me wrong. Gay should have been canned after Thursday, though.
Yep.
And now they may potentially lose Darnold for a week or two.
Yeah. Sprained shoulder. Flacco came in. Darnold did finish the game, I believe.
There is one saving grace, and that's
Jamison Crowder.
If he's healthy, play him.
Yep. Especially in PPR.
Find a way to get him into your lineup.
Yeah, somebody needs to free him. For Denver, Melvin Gordon continues to look really good in that offense. That's the biggest takeaway. Also, Tim Patrick. I'm pretty sure that I made mention of Tim Patrick when Cortland Sutton went down. He needed 113 yards and a touchdown because Tim Patrick finds a way to be a thing every year. It's like Adam Humphries.
It's just him and Judy. I think Fant, who also got hurt Thursday night, I think he's expected to miss this weekend. I don't know how much longer after that, but I think he's not expected to play week 5.
Yeah.
Tim Patrick and Jerry Judy are the guys you want to throw out there. And then obviously Melvin Gordon.
Yep. Tim Patrick, by the way, if he's on waivers, grab him. And Melvin Gordon, just start him at this point. We're back to that. So.
We do expect Philip Lindsay to be back, but Gordon just does it all.
He's been good.
He's looked good. He's looked very good even against Pittsburgh, but it was a strong defense. He still was productive against them. So At this point, just play Gordon until otherwise stated.
All right. upset, at least for me, Panthers beat the Cardinals. Looking at Arizona, DeAndre Hopkins really had his first down game. Only 7 receptions for 41 yards. Kenyon Drake got hurt early on with the chest injury. He's back at practice. But he didn't have a great game and really just kind of mediocre all around. The only efficiency was Kyler Murray, 3 touchdowns passing, 78 yards on the ground.
Yeah, on 133 passing yards.
3 touchdowns. Yep.
It's
a Lamar Jackson. It's a Lamar Jackson stat line if I've ever seen one.
It's a little bit of Russell Wilson too. Low passing yards, a lot of touchdowns. Thank God he runs the football.
Yep.
I know Drake got hurt, and I know you and I both liked him into this year, but he's been disappointing.
He has been disappointing.
Got hurt, but he's been disappointing this entire year. I want an offense that we expected to be better
than what it is.
It's on Drake right now.
Well, he's still a starting running back, getting the majority of carries on a team, so I think he's still rosterable. But I think you got to be a little bit more conservative about how you deploy him. I think it's more on a week-to-week game script to grain script match. Not even timeout per se, because guys that are in timeout, it's just I don't care who you play, I'm not starting you.
Sure.
For Drake, it's more I need to see something like what we saw for Mixon coming into this week, where it's a plus matchup with the potential to be a plus game script for him. DeAndre Hopkins misses a week. They've got a matchup where they should just run away with it, and it's gonna lean towards the rushing game, things like that. You just I think you're gonna have to be a little more selective with how you deploy Kenyon Drake. I don't think you can just plug and play.
Okay.
The Panthers were, the
Panthers.
They were the Panthers, yeah. Teddy Bridgewater spread it out. He would have been an okay stream. I don't really see anybody that had a massive standout performance. Robbie Anderson out-targeted DJ Moore. Robbie Anderson should be rostered in all leagues. What do you do with DJ Moore, who's been pretty mediocre through the first 3 weeks or 4 weeks?
I mean, what sucks is that I just traded Darius Slayton in the first for him in a Dynasty League in which I'm going to be contending. So that kind of hurt. You're going to have to ride the wave. I still expect this Panthers team to throw a lot. I do expect that DJ Moore is going to at some point put it together this season. Robbie Anderson is familiar with the offense. He was with Matt Rule at Temple, so he knows what type of offense is ran here. So he had the leg up there, and the fact that they wanted Moore to be more like the Jamar Chase of where the offense is stemmed from with LSU too. So it sucks to see Moore struggle. But it's going to get better. It will be. I do expect at one point they're both going to be fun. Don't drop him. You just can't drop him.
That's what I was just going to say. He's not so bad to where you drop him because he's performing at least at that level where, especially in PPR, you can plug him in and get floor. There's just no upside there right now. It's almost like what he was in college. So,
I mean, Kyler Murray's probably a little bit. It's a slight upgrade over the quarterbacks.
Well, Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay, no, I lied. He is a. Well, yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah,
I stand by my. Yeah, I meant Teddy.
Yeah.
I stand by my same.
Yep. Mike Davis, another solid game for him. He's another one that you just kind of are careful about where you deploy unless it's full PPR. Saw another 6 targets, just 27 yards on those, but 5 receptions on 6 targets. That's 7 points in the receiving game alone in full PPR. So.
I guess try to get what you can from him with McCaffrey coming back in a week or two.
Yeah.
Ride him out in redraft unless you can get a deal for him with an upgrade piece. Because as soon as McCaffrey comes back, he's...
Yeah, if somebody's dumb enough to take that deal, go for it. Otherwise, you just ride the wave and then you drop him when McCaffrey comes back.
Colton, this is my proposal, T. I got a lot of love on Twitter for actually proposing wearing my Scott Fish shirt. People were like, you should probably see if you can get a free entry. I'm like, well, I'm not going to go that far.
Yeah, you got in and I didn't.
I know.
And I'm actually still part of the show, not throwing shade at any former co-host who we definitely told he could still claim to be. But,
Yeah, it's funny.
Bears Colts. I really don't want to talk about any more of this game. But
fucking God. So, Allen Robinson had 2 catches going to the fourth quarter. 2.
Yeah.
2.
And then they started targeting him. Yeah, 2 catches and he ended with 7-101 and a touchdown. But Nick Foles, 50% completion rate, 1-to-1 TD to interception ratio. This was a winnable game for the Bears. You know who wasn't? You know who hadn't lost a game yet this season? Mitch Trubisky. I'm just saying. They have not lost a game in which Mitch Trubisky started.
I know. At least Robinson got it going in the fourth quarter during garbage time.
4 for 33 for freaking Jimmy Graham in a winnable game. Nick Foles doing Nick Foles things and disappointing. Jonathan Taylor on the Colts side, another okay week. Really was kind of expecting out of more, but he's a rookie, so he gets a pass. Zach Pascal, leading wide receiver. I really don't think there's a lot to talk about in this game. Just fuck the Bears.
On Matt's show, doing our post game analysis on Sunday, I went on a tirade. Just like the fact that the coaching staff felt the need to give Hines and Wilkins 18 touches, the total is fucking terrible. Why? Like, let JT get going. Why let Rivers throw the football because he's fucking terrible? Let JT get himself right. He's struggling a little bit right now. He's going through the same thing Miles Sanders went through last year. Just let the man fucking run.
Yep.
Like, why are you taking him off the field every other play for 9 fucking Hines and Jordan Wilkins? Like, why? It fucking baffles me. It does.
Yep.
Fired up.
I see that. All right, Jacksonville, Cincinnati. Jacksonville, Gardner Minshew, another pretty solid day. 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. So that's very passable for, a high-end streamer that is Gardner Minshew at this point. James Robinson, over 100 all-purpose yards. You'll take that. Visca Chenault, another solid week. DJ Chark finally getting off the schneid, though. That's the important part here. Led the team in targets, 8 receptions, 95 yards, a couple touchdowns. That's what you really needed from DJ Chark. It was for him to get right. So you hope that you ride that and that it continues. Same thing for Joe Mixon. He had a get-right game. 25 attempts, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. All 6 passes, 30 yards, and another receiving touchdown. He absolutely killed me in one league this week. Over 40 points for Mixon. So you got 2 get-right games. Do you think Chark and Mixon can continue that? Do you think that keeps up?
I mean, the one thing that we hit on all offseason was garbage time Minshew, garbage time DJ Chark. And while the first few weeks it wasn't that way because they were actually competitive. Last week Chark didn't play on Thursday night when they got their ass kicked by Miami, and then we got to see what the Bengals did to them, and we got to see what this offense should look like for the most part moving forward.
Yep.
Garbage time Minshew was highly productive as a fantasy streamer, and DJ Chark is the most important piece on this offense. What's more important is James Robinson still getting 100 total yards and back-to-back, I guess, blowouts. Non-descriptive game script not in his favor, and he's still productive.
Yep.
Mixon we knew was going to happen. He out-snaps Gio. He out-runs Gio. It was just, when the fuck is Zach Taylor going to get out of his own way? And he finally let the offense run through Mixon and let Burrow be comfortable and not try to win everything.
Yeah, didn't make Burrow throw 61 times.
It's like you're not going to win a lot of games when you're making your rookie quarterback throw the ball that much. And when you have an all-star running back who you just paid, like, let him run. He had 31 touches. Like, that's all you need. Well, that's a lot, but still.
I mean,
as long as Mixon stays healthy, he's right up there for me again. Like, this is his game. Let's go.
James Robinson's a locked and loaded running back too. Touchdown upside might not be there, but the yardage and the receiving work is. As far as Chark, Laviska Shenault is the other thing I want to point out here. He is kind of on the same trajectory as T. Higgins, both riding a little bit behind CeeDee Lamb as far as their work goes. Solid week from Visca Shenault. Chenault. Sorry, I keep trying to French it out, but I think it's accidentally pronounced Chenault.
I think we should talk about the fact that Higgins is at this point should have supplanted Green. He's out
targeting him. AJ Green's droppable at this point. It's Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we like this offense, obviously he's not going to play Jacksonville every week, but
yeah,
I think we've seen the transition of the receiving role, where Boyd and Higgins are your 1 and 2, and Green is getting the Larry Fitzgerald treatment.
Yep, and T. Higgins should be rostered. 7 targets, 77 yards. 7 targets is enough for a guy to be considered a wide receiver 2 ups, to have wide receiver 2 upside. So, and he's getting that relatively consistently at this point. Defense is bad, so I don't see that falling off. Cleveland and Dallas. Baker Mayfield, not a great game, not the worst game. They were up for most of this, so that's how it's going to go for Baker. He's only going to throw 30 times, and
I think this is what Stefanski wants to do.
It is.
They want to run the football. They want to let Baker make high efficient throws. Put him in movement, play action rollouts, the same way he did with Cousins last year, and which is great for the actual game. For fantasy wise, you're going to get a lot of just 16, 17 point weeks. And what's good to see though is Beckham got fucking 3 total touchdowns, get over 100 total yards.
Yeah,
that was the game I'm waiting for. It was fantastic.
Yep, 3 total touchdowns, 100 total yards. They deployed Beckham in a multitude of ways. This offense is starting to click. Dearness Johnson took over for Nick Chubb after Chubb went down hurt. He had a solid game, 95 yards on the ground on 13 carries. Kareem Hunt, also another solid game. No receiving work, but 71 yards, 2 touchdowns. Expect him to be the lead back going forward. But Dearness Johnson, like we mentioned, worth a waiver claim, and I agree that Odell Beckham's the important part here. You want to see that continue as well, not just against a bad Cowboys secondary. So, speaking of, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. No, I'm just saying I agree.
Speaking of Dallas, Dak Prescott's on an absolute freaking tear. So, yeah, I don't have to think.
He's for 6,700 passing yards right now.
Yep. Everything here, I think CeeDee Lamb is probably the biggest thing to talk about here, other than the Noah Brown sighting. And basically CeeDee Lamb is the locked and loaded 2 on this team.
He is supplanted Gallup.
He's supplanted Gallup. That doesn't mean Gallup doesn't have value. Gallup does still have value. It's just kind of going to vary week to week. CeeDee Lamb, though, has been consistent. 2 touchdowns this week, 2 on 79 yards, 5 of 7 receiving. He's kind of in the same realm as T. Higgins. It's a little bit more upside because we've seen how these Cowboys are going to have to win. They're going to try to have to outscore opponents. It's testament to how bad this defense is when Dak Prescott can go for 500 yards and 4 total touchdowns, and you lose.
I think Lamb. I know Darren just asked a question about Justin Jefferson. He asked if he's a must start at this point. CeeDee Lamb is a must start.
Yeah, and I think
Dallas has an historically bad defense right now.
This is a good wide receiver class. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, you got Chenault that's looking pretty solid. You've got CeeDee Lamb, who's come out looking really good. T. Higgins is fitting into his role very, very nicely. It's Justin Jefferson. They finally figured out we should throw to Justin Jefferson. Like you just said, Jerry Jeudy's been productive. It's a good receiving class, and I think everybody we just named, you could consider, especially in 3 wide receiver leagues, in must-start category, honestly.
So this receiving class is as amazing as Maplewoods, Mr. Shaky Strawberry.
It sounds so good.
It's super sweet. It's not overly sweet. It's got the perfect blend of strawberry to the vanilla lactose kind of finish. It's not overly tart, and it's almost like drinking of a strawberry shake. And if you like those, you'll probably enjoy this beer. If you like milkshake IPAs as much as I do, you'll definitely enjoy this beer. I'm excited to see what Maplewood does moving forward with their Mr. Shaky series. The base beer is fantastic, and the strawberry beer has lived up to those expectations. So the receiving class of 2019, and we're not even with Rager's not healthy. Fucking Brian Edwards isn't healthy.
Rager's
Andrew
not.
Ruggs isn't healthy. And Michael Pittman's
on IR now.
A bad team.
No, Michael Pittman got hurt. He's on IR. Michael Pittman's on IR now too. So
this could be in 2 years when we're talking about this we're talking about this class for the last time. This could be an historic class. And Mims, as Colton just Mims when he comes back and healthy.
Mims is on IR.
Exactly.
Gabe Davis is for a late round pick is actually flashed a little bit to start. So, I mean, he's not obviously in the category as those other guys we mentioned, but in Dynasty, he's gone from a 4th round pick to must be rostered. So,
and he's been a flex play every week. He's either, I mean, he doesn't have the targets we love to see, but the Buffalo wants to get him the football at least, 4 or 5 times a game. And that's
okay because John Brown and Stephon Diggs aren't going to be there forever. So,
well, Diggs might be. I don't see Buffalo ever wanting Diggs to go with how well he's played with Josh Allen. But we're not talking about Buffalo, so
no, we are not. We're actually on to the Saints and the Lions, just because that's what I'm looking at. I don't know how we got here, but that's where we are.
That's where we are.
So this game was about what you'd expect out of the Saints and the Lions. It was high scoring, and it wasn't necessarily pretty for a lot of pieces, but it got the job done. Alvin Kamara, Latavius Murray both had good games. Remind you of why Latavius Murray should be rostered, because he is just quietly pretty solid most of the time. Emmanuel Sanders, I think, overtook Traquan Smith, sort of, is the top target getter, but Smith had both touchdowns. So, again, those guys is still kind of a toss-up. This is more important. So, well, you saw his running back core, right? I don't know how thick he is at receiver, Dan, but you saw that he's.
You drop Mostert. You drop
Mostert. You sure
you don't drop Jonathan.
You sure it's not Robinson? You sure it's not James Robinson that you drop?
No, I would keep James Robinson. Mostert's going to be in a nasty committee. Like, he's an undrafted free agent that got production last year due to injury. He's hurt now, and we're seeing McKinnon, who's now healthy, be actually productive. You keep your bell cows. You keep the guys that have 18 touch upside on any given week. Drop Mostert. That's me. I wouldn't drop James Robinson. I definitely wouldn't drop Jonathan Taylor.
Better question, what's your right wide receiver core look like? Let's put that out there. Because these are pretty stacked rosters. Either you're really good and everybody else is... Yeah. But what's your wide receiver core look like? You can put that in the chat.
And if this is Dynasty or redrafts. Please.
Yeah, that helps too. As far as the wide receivers go, you're pretty much still a toss-up between Sanders and Traquan Smith. I don't love either of them. They're good in a pinch.
Sorry, go ahead.
Stafford was efficient. He was fine. 3 touchdowns, 206 yards, better than Jared Goff. More on him later. Adrian Peterson still getting the majority of the work. I have nothing else to say about that because it just bothers me. But DeAndre Swift starting to cut into it a little bit. 8 touches to Peterson's 13, 52 total yards and a touchdown to AP's 32 and a touchdown. So DeAndre Swift starting to cut into that and, outplaying Kerryon Johnson. I don't know how Johnson and Swift aren't both out touching Adrian Peterson, but that's just me. Marvin Jones, juicy matchup, bad day. He's almost droppable at this point. He didn't produce with Golladay out. He's not producing in his secondary role right now. Kenny Golladay, solid week, just like you'd expect.
This is a weird matchup. They had no Marcus Lattimore. They got up early due to a pretty errant interception by Breeze in the first quarter. They were up 14-0 right away. Get to see Ventus Breeze when the team was kind of behind, and then that fell back to normal because it's the fucking Lions, and you can probably still score a bunch of points on them.
DeAndre Hopkins, Kenny Golladay, and Keenan Allen. Man, that's tough because you've already got 3 good wide receivers too. If you want to, I would. For me, I'm probably dropping Robinson to pick up Jefferson. Dan, I think you're dropping Mostert to pick up Jefferson, but I would balance it out a little bit more.
I just don't see. I don't see a way James Robinson loses his role this year. Like, even with like Rocco Armstead coming back, Mostert, it's always been a hot hand approach. He could take that role back. He could. But he's always going to have Jeff Wilson.
Just so much more.
Tevin Coleman.
So much more week-to-week upside out of Mostert.
Is it, though? I mean, Robinson's getting all the touches. Yes, there's no scoring there, but we know the touchdowns are sticky anyways.
Yeah. That's all.
Either way.
That's all I got. Way. I said what I said.
I was disappointed in the Saints Science game. I expected more from Stafford. I expected more from the receiving corps.
Well, especially because they were down Lattimore and Jenkins. I expected more, but, you know.
I mean, I expected this game to kind of, I mean, scoring-wise, this was highest scoring shootout, but production-wise, 206 passing yards from Stafford, 246 from Breeze. I mean, Kamara, I expected Kamara to post, high receiving and rushing with no Jared Cook, no Michael Thomas. Obviously, I do like Sanders and Smith, especially without Thomas playing. Yeah. But just the Lions themselves, Jones, between Jones and Hawkinson as your 2 and 3 catches for 13 yards or for 18 yards. It's pretty sad. And fuck Adrian Peterson and fuck Matt Patricia at this point.
For sure. On to Vikings Texans. Wow. This game, the Vikings got to do exactly what they want to do most of the time. 22 attempts for Cousins. Meanwhile, Dalvin Cook is who the offense went through, and that's exactly what they wanted to do. Saw 29 touches. There was another 7 for Madison, so 36 touches going to the running backs, which is exactly how the Vikings want to play. 130 yards, 2 touchdowns for Dalvin Cook, so great game for him. Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson both had big games. Thielen saw the majority of the targets, 114 and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson, though, another really good week with 103, and I think they figured out that Justin Jefferson absolutely can fill the Diggs role. I'd expect him to see some consistent target volume going forward. This is just a game where, like I said, the Vikings got to do exactly what they want to do most weeks.
So back to Darren's question when he asked if Justin Jefferson was I guess just an auto start. And my answer to him was not yet. I think he's more matchup dependent still.
The Vikings are matchup dependent.
Yeah. The fact that the Vikings are averaging over 30 points per game, it shocked me a little bit. Obviously, they've had a soft defensive schedule to start out with, and their defense is garbage. They're going to be in shootouts more often than not. Cook, a beast. Obviously, you're playing them, and then I still think Jefferson is matchup dependent. I just think matchup dependencies are a lot.
Let me give you.
At this point.
So let's look ahead. Okay. Seahawks, Falcons, bye Packers. I think you're starting him each of those 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Especially against Seattle, and especially the fact that the Vikings. It took the Vikings 2 weeks to bench BC Johnson for Justin Jefferson's a travesty. Yeah. But at this point, it's just those two.
Those are 3 games where I don't expect the Vikings get to execute the run first game plan they want to. I expect that they're going to have to pass a lot in those 3 games. Then you get the Lions. That's probably going to be more tilted towards Dalvin Cook. Then you get the Bears. We'll see what they are by that point in time. And then you get the Cowboys, which again is going to be another, and you've got the Bucs still remaining on the schedule also. So, I mean, you've got some juicy matchups to Justin Jefferson. He's not a must start, but for the next, for 3 of the next 4 weeks, so when he's not as a bye, you're absolutely starting him.
Yeah, I mean, it's, if the Vikings have it their way, they're not going to throw the football a lot. So there's always a risk when you're playing the a target getter, or the non-target getter receiver in this offense. And Thielen's still the number 1. I don't expect that to change, at least this year.
He is.
So there's always a risk when you play that way. But we expect them to, I expected them, I said it all offseason, that they're going to have to throw the football.
Yeah, when you get to Chicago or Detroit or Jacksonville on the schedule, then, yeah, those are games where you're probably going to consider benching Justin Jefferson. But Seattle, Atlanta, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, you're starting him.
Okay, let's shift to Houston. Watson. This was supposed to be his get right game, and while 300 yards and 2 touchdowns is good, I felt like there could have been more here.
Deshaun Watson. Yeah, and it's the Bill O'Brien thing. And back to the initial question that I asked, it's the fact that they've failed to really build around him. It was good. 302 is solid. I would have been really happy with about 50 more yards and another touchdown, honestly. And the rushing floor needs to come up, and maybe that'll change with the coaching change. But I think that you have to consider Watson matchup dependent at this point.
Jacksonville, Tennessee at a road, and then Green Bay at home are his next 3 games.
Jacksonville,
it's not bad.
No, they're both interesting because when you look at the level of competition, there should be close games. It's probably a neutral game script in those, honestly. And they're division games, so we'll have to see. I'll still look for better streaming options if they're not there. I'm not going to cry myself to sleep because I had to play Deshaun Watson, but, he's not a must-start at this point, I think, is the biggest point.
Will Fuller, is he a must-start when he's healthy?
When he's healthy, yes. 108 and a touchdown. Brandon Cooks hasn't got, for various reasons, has not been good this year. We won't, go into that. Kenny Stills is still just an ancillary piece, as is Randall Cobb. The Will Fuller, they've shown that he's going to be their top target, so when he's healthy, you start him.
Yeah. We apologize to all of our listeners out there that went with us on the Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
I'm hammering on Cooks.
Yeah, and everything said you should have, but, it's weird off-season. Welcome to 2020. Weird season. Dolphins, Seahawks. Russell Wilson, good as normal. Even in a negative game script, he was good. So, nothing really to say there. Chris Carson, good as normal. Even in a negative game script, he was good.
Should be
100 yards.
Be good to go next week.
Yep, 2 touchdowns, must start. DK Metcalf, 106 yards. David Moore, solid game. Tyler Lockett, a little bit of a dud. Don't freak out too much about either of those things.
He does it. He did it last year, in the middle of his hot run. This is just what we...
It's just going to happen.
Yeah, every now and then he'll get only 4 targets.
Myles Gaskin, still the guy from Miami. Not as much upside this week as you would expect, but, game script will do that to you. Devontae Parker, very solid game. That was very predictable. Preston Williams, not a great game. That one throws me off a little bit, but,
Isaiah Ford, 10 targets.
Yeah.
He had 4 catches, but he was second on the team in snaps. Obviously, it's a 3 set, so that's an eye out to watch.
They saw something they were trying.
Williams was a fun story, but it was always a help Bill Klein.
And I think
the chemistry built from Parker that fits.
Yeah, and I think they maybe found something that they were trying to exploit there with Ford too, or maybe they're trying something else. But Preston Williams is droppable at this point.
Yeah.
In redraft, not dynasty. Buffalo and the Raiders. Josh Allen is Josh Allen. Devin Singletary, majority of the work again. Zach Moss actually didn't play. There was a coin flip there that landed on Zach Moss. The cap told you wrong. It was Alex that asked that. But yeah, the cap was wrong for you.
The cap's struggling.
Well, yeah, and I didn't see if Zach Moss actually was listed as an inactive. I went early last week, so.
Okay.
Gabe Davis, just 1 target, but 26 yards and a touchdown. I mentioned him earlier as a guy that you just kind of watch. Stephon Diggs, clearly the best wide receiver in this one. Game script-wise, the Bills were just ahead. They were ahead the whole game. So you weren't going to get a lot out of that passing game. That was kind of to be expected. For the Raiders, not a whole lot here that I'm seeing to talk about, honestly. Hunter Renfrow was Hunter Renfrow. Darren Waller was Darren Waller. The Raiders are what the Raiders are. It's Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller, and then, Hunter Renfrow if you're in a pinch. That's what they are at this point.
Josh Jacobs a little disappointing since, but you're going to have to ride through it. Darren Waller, though, Jesus Christ, man. Let's go. 12 targets.
Yeah.
Renfrow with 8, though. Fun to see.
I've said it for the last 2 years. Hunter Renfrow is literally Adam Humphries. Hey, cheers, craft beer pours. We've got craft beer pours.
We do.
We do indeed. moving on. Giants Rams. The Giants are bad. I saw on Instagram where there was actually a play where the Giants ran a passing play and no wide receiver ran a route. Ooh, wow. Down by 16. He has Aaron Jones. He's starting Zacharias since Adams is out. Don't feel confident. I haven't lost this guy in 4 years. Sad times. I wouldn't feel confident either. Aaron Jones is going to go off tonight. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, that one not looking great. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, sorry, dude. Anyway, Giants are bad. Devonta Freeman led the team in rushes and touches. 68 total yards. I guess you can roster him if he's available anywhere. Other than that, Evan Ingram had 10 targets. That was good. I'm done talking about the Giants. Those were the only bright spots.
I don't care about the Giants.
Yep, rushing game not great for the Rams either. Really down week for them. Your bright spot here is Cooper Kupp, 5 for 69 and 1. That was it. This is a shit show of a game. For the Rams, it's a throwaway game. For the Giants, it's
try to get out on Darrell Henderson when you can, because when Cam Akers comes back, I don't think anyone in this backfield is going to be real exciting to play in redraft leagues.
We'll see. I think it's a throwaway game for the Rams. I think it's what the Giants are.
It makes no sense. The Giants traveled back to the West Coast. I don't know if the Rams literally just looked past the Giants, because everything about this game screamed.
I mean, they won.
Henderson blow up.
Yeah.
They beat the shit out of them. They
won.
Let's move on. This game is just pissing me off.
Yep. On to this one. Eagles somehow beat the 49ers. The Eagles won a football game. Carson Wentz did a little bit more with his legs. Still not great, but best game you've had from him all season. Jalen Hurts took some snaps, saw some rushes.
And a fumble.
Yep.
It was a bad snap fumble.
Miles Sanders, mediocre day. Travis Fulgham was your leading wide receiver. Greg Ward led in targets. And until they start getting wide receivers back, you just want nothing to do with this. Zach Ertz is the real surprise. He had a shit game, even without a Dallas Goedert there, and being clearly what you expect to be the best option there. So,
Niners did everything they possibly could to take Ertz out of that game. I watched the majority of the game last night. It was very clear that Ertz was getting double and triple teamed. They made Greg Ward and something called Travis Fulgham beat him. And Miles Sanders may have been banged up towards the end of the game because he wasn't getting much work towards the end of their last couple of series.
Yep. Niners, they benched Nick Mullins about halfway through. Went with CJ Beathard the rest of the way. So, we'll see. Jerick McKinnon, most productive wide receiver. Jeff Wilson, not much to speak of. Jerick McKinnon actually, he would have been the most productive wide receiver too, but most productive running back.
That's true.
14 for 54 and a touchdown. Man. Debo was limited, so Shanahan didn't lie about that. George Kittle was the entirety of the receiving game. 15 of 15 for 183 and 1.
I've been waiting for this game.
Just fucking with him.
Because I just completely forgot that he was actually playing.
He was just fucking with people.
So beat the shit out of him. Yeah. He was. He is. I think he might be my favorite football player to watch.
I love George Kittle.
Everything about George Kittle is amazing.
I can say that I was on George Kittle before others were on George Kittle.
You're the reason why I picked him off of free agents in my home dynasty. In our home dynasty league, you are the sole reason why I have the tight end one.
You're welcome.
I will never stop giving you props for that.
And I appreciate that. All right, Chargers Bucks. So Justin Herbert, another good game, 20-25, but 290 and 3 touchdowns. Justin Herbert's looking like everything we wanted Sam Darnold to be.
I mean, he's had, 2 good games, 1, forgettable game. Herbert was kind of the Drew Lock, Josh Rosen-esque, where he had a lot of splits and what people liked about him as a rookie coming out of coming out of Oregon, and he's done nothing but prove that he can. He hung with Tom Brady for the majority of that game. Even the fact that Anthony Lynn still kind of wants to bench him it's
atrocious to me, because he's been near 300 yards in each game. He's been over 300 in 2 of 3. He had, rushing and a passing touchdown his first start, just a passing touchdown his second start, but still 330 yards, 3 touchdowns this go around. He's had an interception in each game, but he's a rookie. You're going to have that. I mean, he's looked really good for, being our 3rd or 4th ranked quarterback coming in. So from a rookie perspective,
after the draft.
Yeah. He was behind Hurts before the draft. He got bumped up.
Yeah, and he's got Keenan Allen. Like, he knows where his best playmakers are. Let's just be happy that he's the starter, because Keenan Allen's been an absolute monster since he took over as a starting quarterback.
Yeah, he has, and they should keep him as a starting quarterback. Keenan Allen, another 12 targets. It's old Keenan Allen. He was only 8 for 62 this go around, but it was good. There's nobody else we're talking about there, but Keenan Allen did it. Rushing game, we talked about it in the lead-in. The rushing game was not anything. As far as
when you lose Austin Eckler, early, that's what
happens. And when you're, like I said, they were up at
they were ahead for the majority.
They were ahead for the first half, and then things started to get dicey in the second half. So I don't think they ever settled into a position to where they could stop throwing. But yeah, it's gonna happen, and maybe with Tampa they just saw, and rightfully so, that the secondary is the right way to attack them. Because it is, honestly. They've gotten better in the middle of the defensive line. They've gotten better at the linebacking position, but you can still attack Tampa through the secondary.
Yep.
Tom Brady turned back the clock, 369-5. Ronald Jones, very good day, 20 attempts, 111 yards. Another 6 receptions on 9 targets. So he had a very good day. Did Ronald Jones.
17 yards on 6 catches.
Yeah.
Oof.
Still, good day on the ground.
Yep.
Mike Evans, Scotty Miller.
Might be back too.
Yep. Mike Evans, Scotty Miller doing what you'd expect. O.J. Howard, your leading tight end. I mean, that's pretty chalk. Scotty Miller with Godwin out, and then Mike Evans doing what Mike Evans does in that type of game. So.
Yep. O.J. Howard lost for the year, torn Achilles. We forgot to talk about, I guess.
Oh, yeah. So that'll be Gronk, but
Cameron Brate.
It's Cameron Brate season. Yep.
How are you? I feel like you should be more excited. I figured that would have been the first thing you talked about on this show was, hey, Cameron Brate got a fucking touchdown pass.
He's still not dead. Yeah, I love Cameron Brate. That's the thing. I absolutely love Cameron Brate. I love Cameron Brate more than the Bucks apparently love Cameron Brate. He's not dead.
He's not dead.
Still doing stuff. But yeah, with O.J. Howard down for the season, you'd expect Gronk, but Gronk's a blocker. Just ask Bruce Arians. So I'd keep an eye on Cameron Brate.
They're gonna have to use one of the more.
Yeah.
Or we're just gonna see a lot more Scotty Miller, even when Godwin
and that's honestly what I think is more likely, is just more Scotty Miller, because I think there's a rapport there.
Fournette might be back Thursday night against the Bears. Godwin won't be. I think that's already been pretty much stated. So you'll have Scotty for one more week.
Yep, and you'll have a shit show of a running back core, because even though Ronald Jones had a good game, wait and see what happens when Fournette gets back in.
Yeah, Keyshawn Vaughn made a showing.
He showed a
touchdown reception.
Yep,
that was about it.
That's about it. Ravens and the football team. Ravens are the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens are pretty chalk at this point, except the running game is not nearly as potent, and it's split 3 ways. Actually, the whole of the running game is good. The fact that it's split between 3 backs, not good.
I'm wondering if there's a team out there that's going to reach out and try to trade for Gus Edwards or something. Like, as a fantasy guy, I want to see this.
I want this backfield to clear up somehow.
Yeah, please.
And it's terrible to root for injury, but I wouldn't hate it. Anyway. Marquise Brown came out and had a good game. Don't bet on that every week. Mark Andrews did Mark Andrews stuff. I see.
Yeah, you're always going to play Mark Andrews, even though he might give you a dud every now and then.
Yep, Terry McLaurin's a monster. I see nothing else worth talking about in the Washington game. Except Antonio Gibson was good in the receiving game, I guess. So Gibson's becoming a thing slowly.
I mean, Gibson, I guess we can talk about it because Gibson had 13 carries to combine, 5 for both McKissick and Barber.
He did.
You're not going to be picking up Gibson anywhere because he's likely rosterable. But that you should start seeing more of that. The fact that these are their second best receiver at this point and likely their best running back.
Yeah. No, you will see more of that, and you'll see more of those types of games. So, all right, that's it for the review. Because the other 2 games haven't happened yet. So, like I said earlier, though, congratulations to Aaron Jones on his 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sorry, Darren. Green Bay, unfortunately,
Chiefs
won.
6-0.
And, yeah, Chiefs are going to beat the Patriots. That's pretty understood. All right, let's go ahead and look at this upcoming week, I guess. Bucks Bears. Bucks favored by 5.5. Negative 230 on the money line. Over under on this one's 44.5. I'll take the Bucks at negative 5.5. I don't think Chicago is a prayer in this game.
No, I'm sorry. I'm still pulling up the computers.
As far as matchups go, you're not starting a Tampa Bay running back. You're starting Mike Evans, obviously. You'll start Scotty Miller. You're okay with Tom Brady. And that's how that one goes. I don't know. There's a whole lot else to say there.
I mean, I guess I'd probably still play Ronald. I'll play Ronald Jones if we're not going to play. I'd probably still play Ronald Jones. I think you'll get one highly opportune, productive week.
Maybe. Yeah, for the Bears, it's Allen Robinson. You can throw Jimmy Graham out there if you're desperate at tight end. Other than that,
I expect these lines to change. We're still on Monday.
David Montgomery may be closer to a sit than a start, honestly.
Yeah, Robinson's locked and loaded, and that's I think your only Bear player you're playing. I guess Montgomery, if we just lost 2 more running backs for a large part of the season. So
yeah,
Darren says Brayton DFS.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Cardinals Jets. We've discussed it. The Jets are terrible. Not going to be a game script where I expect the Cardinals are going to have to throw a whole heck of a lot. So it's Hopkins and Murray there. I'm not getting cute with that one. As far as the Jets go, you never get cute with the Jets. It's just Jamison Crowder.
Another chance for Drake.
Yeah, it is another chance for Drake because it could be up.
Another chance for hopefully Drake.
Game script should go Kenyon Drake's way in this one, so you're okay with that as well. Cardinals negative 6.5. I'll take the spread on that. I heard.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of downplayed it there. I don't know. I might just stay away from this game. The Cardinals have not really looked great the last 2 weeks.
I'm confident enough in how shitty the Jets are.
That's true. I may just take the over in this game. I expect it. If Darnold plays, I'm taking the over. I don't think I'm playing the spread.
Yeah.
I can see the Cardinals just kind of saying whatever, winning this game by 3 points.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was going to say, if you take the over, you're hoping that the Cardinals score 40. So.
That's true.
No over-under on Panthers-Falcons for, I guess, reasons. But Panthers plus 156 odds in this one. We've seen how bad the Falcons are. So DJ Moore's a go. Robbie Anderson's a go. Mike Davis is a go. Teddy Bridgewater is a good streaming option.
I'm guessing there's no over-under because there's been no week. Their games haven't been played yet.
Yeah, the Falcons.
Yet, so
yeah.
I expect this game.
This probably goes over. Whatever
4.5, 53.5. Yeah.
Whatever the over is, it goes over.
I can see Atlanta just already winning this game. I think this will be their game if they finally just.
You think they finally win one?
Figure shit out.
I think they do too.
They finally won't blow it on their fourth quarter game.
I think they will too.
So.
Atlanta negative 186 or 3.5 at negative 110. I'd probably just take the spread here too. I don't see a reason to bet money line there since the spread's better odds. But, yeah, for Carolina, Robbie Anderson, Mike Davis, DJ Moore, Teddy Bridgewater is a good stream. For Atlanta, your normal cast of suspects, including Russell Gage.
Yep.
Bengals, Ravens. Ravens favored by 13.5. I would take the Bengals to cover that. I don't think they're going to get beat by 2 touchdowns in this one. I don't think they win, but I think that these odds are a little bit too lopsided for my liking. Are you in the same boat as me there? Or? I think the Bengals offense is starting to click.
I've never been a fan of double-digit spreads. I don't like betting them either way. That means Vegas obviously sees something. I think Cincinnati's offense is good enough to keep the game going. But if Baltimore gets what they get, as long as they don't, do what they did against Washington and just kind of coast in the fourth quarter, they can just put the clamps down on this young offense and just kind of suffocate with turnovers. As long as Zach Taylor doesn't get away from his game plan against Jacksonville, I think if I'm betting, I'm going with the Bengals in the 13.5 points. Mm-hmm. I may even tease this up higher. I think Baltimore wins. I don't know if it's by more than a touchdown.
Yeah, I think Baltimore wins too. I just don't see it being by a 2-score game.
Yeah.
So, in fact, more than a 2-score game. It's a 2-touchdown game essentially. So.
Yeah, I'm probably staying away from this game.
Yeah, I'm real confident in the Bengals at plus 13.5. Anyway, Baltimore is Baltimore. It's going to be Justin Jackson and not Justin Jackson, Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. I don't know that you play Hollywood here. I don't know. I don't know. Given the inconsistencies in this receiving game, I don't know that you can. And it's not because it's a bad offense. It's just it's not one-dimensional in any way. So I don't know that you can play Hollywood here and feel good about it.
It's the same. It's been the same situation for him all year. You're never gonna feel great playing a boom bust receiver.
Yeah,
he's basically a lesser Tyreek Hill because he doesn't get the target production that you want.
All upside,
he had 8
no floor
against Washington, but he only had 4 catches.
Yeah,
but he had 81 yards on 4 catches and 8 targets. But again, you're gonna have to live with those. Like if you're playing Brown, you're just hoping for that. 4 to 5 catches for 100 plus yards and a score, or maybe 2.
Yeah,
and you have to live and die with those, with those games.
All upside, no floor.
Pretty much.
As far as the Bengals go, it's exactly what you talked about earlier. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Joe Mixon are all pretty much plug and play.
Yeah, I'm definitely not playing Burrow in fantasy. I think this might be the game where they struggle. At least he struggles more. So I can see Baltimore just wanting to beat the piss out of them. Obviously, every game they want to, but this game might just be a Mixon and Tyler Boyd game. I don't know if I want to trust T. Higgins just yet.
Yeah.
If there's better options, I'm not saying that he's a must bench, even though
I just think game script wise, if Cincinnati is going to be playing from behind, then there's going to be enough volume to support at least some floor out of T. Higgins.
If you do think, if you think that the Ravens are going to cover by more than 2 touchdowns, and you expect Burrow to throw a lot more, then sure. If you think this game's going to be a bit closer, which means they're running with Mixon more, I don't know. I'm fine either way. That's my thoughts on this.
Well, you can't argue with that. Jaguars, Texans. Texans favored by 6 here. I think this game is probably going to be closer than a lot of people think.
Jacksonville money line?
Jacksonville money line or the over.
Man, Houston. This is not a team that's going to lose every game.
No,
just like with Atlanta, it's going to come sooner.
There's too many pieces there. I just don't know that. You got a division game with the Jacksonville offense that's been solid, and the Texans defense that's underperformed. I think that Jacksonville money line is maybe something I'd just throw a small bet at just to see if what I can get on return.
I'll put it as like a parlay with a bunch of other games that I don't feel great about. So if they hit, I feel really good.
Yeah,
I think this is your Watson, your David Johnson, and your Will Fuller kind of show out game. Using no more Bill O'Brien.
Last week should have been a Watson show out game. So the question is what are they going to do? You have to watch the news throughout the week and see kind of where they're going to land, because you're not going to implement an entirely new offense midseason. So, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, Jacksonville money line I think is an okay gamble here. As far as what you're doing fantasy wise, James Robinson, DJ Chark, Gardner Minshew's a good stream again. And like you just mentioned, it could very well be. It's not going to be any worse than it was this week for Watson. So I think you can keep Watson in.
Yeah, and I think this is. We just saw what Joe Mixon did to this Jacksonville defense. Not to say that David Johnson is Joe Mixon, but I think you could be pretty confident, at least as a, RB2, which you're probably playing Johnson anyways. You can feel pretty confident Johnson's going to get some run this week.
Yep. I'm with you. I completely lost my spot. That's why I'm stalling. Raiders, Chiefs. Chiefs favored by 11.5 here. I think that's entirely plausible. Again, this is kind of chalk.
Everything about fantasy is the same. You start Waller, you start Josh Jacobs, you start Mahomes, Tyreek, Kelsey, CEH. Money line I expect to be in that 53 to 54 range, or 52 to 54 range.
Over under.
Raiders have hung tight in nearly every game. I think they barely lost to the Patriots too. I think they can cover 11.5. This is the one where I feel more confident that they can cover the 11.5 at Kansas City.
Sure.
But I'm not playing money line. I'm not betting the Chiefs at all in this. There's just
I kind of want to stay away from this. Not because I think the Chiefs won't. I'm not betting Chiefs money. It might get thrown in a parlay to try to save my ass, along with like the Rams who we're about to talk about. But Rams negative 390 against the Washington football team. 8.5 point spread. I'm taking the Rams money line here. As far as the Rams go, it's going to be another game script kind of like what you saw this week. So, you're really looking Cooper Kupp. You can prayer throw Henderson out there, I guess. If Akers doesn't play again, if Akers plays again, not touching the running back core. It's probably really just Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods if everything's straight here,
Yeah, you're playing all the same pieces. On fantasy here.
Darren, I'm talking to you. I don't love Goff this week either. I think that it's another game where game script is not going to go in his favor because I think the Rams are playing from ahead for most of this one. Washington's pretty simple. Antonio Gibson's a flex play at this point in time. Terry McLaurin is an every week start.
Yep. You've hit all the nails here.
Yeah, not a lot of nails to hit there. Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. Pittsburgh coming off an impromptu bye week. Negative 7.5 point favorites at plus 105 odds. Over under on this one is 45. These are two other teams that like to beat the shit out of each other, and since it's a division game, it's probably going to be played closer than a lot would expect. That being said,
interstate game, not a division game.
That's right. Sorry.
I still wouldn't hate Pittsburgh. 7.5 is a lot of points, but they're home.
Yeah.
You get just above even odds. So
why did I say division game?
I have no clue. I don't like the over under. I think 45 is a good number. I don't like Philadelphia in the money lines. I don't like Pittsburgh. With the Rams. I like to pair them with a team like Jacksonville covering Jacksonville money line.
Pittsburgh,
the Rams
probably getting thrown in the same parlay as the Rams and the Chiefs for me. Honestly,
just do a massive eight leg with a with high odds teams.
Well, I do though, and then again, that's what saved my ass this week is because I threw 3 high odds teams in a parlay and it hit, and that covered everything I otherwise would have lost. So,
true.
As far as this game goes, you got to watch the Eagles injury report and see if anybody comes back. If not, then again, I think they're going to do everything to take Ertz away. You have Minkah Fitzpatrick playing safety, so I don't know that you want to run Zach Ertz out there for the Eagles. It may just be Miles Sanders. I mean, somebody else will be productive, but do you want to take a guess at who?
I mean, if you have Zach Ertz, you're probably having to throw him out there. It's never going to feel great until they get some of these guys back. Goddard, I think he has another week or two. I think he has another week or two until he's said to come back.
I think it was a 4 to 6 week injury, so I mean he's still got 3 at least.
Yeah, so it's Miles Sanders.
Jeffrey's.
If you gotta trust in Ertz, I guess throw him out there. I'm not playing Jeffrey at all.
I wasn't saying play Jeffrey. I was saying he's likely the closest to returning.
Okay.
Is Alshon Jeffrey. So, I mean, if he does, because he'll be clear and far the best wide receiver option, you can go that route, but, it's still a tough one. As far as the Steelers go, Juju, Deontay Johnson, James Conner, Ben Roethlisberger, I don't know that the Eagles' defense has been scary enough for me to not be confident in any of those guys. Maybe not Deontay because he's going to draw Slay, but...
Slay does shadow. I can see him on
Juju, even if he... Yeah, I think that I think that they can move Juju around enough, though, honestly. I really do.
Well, if Slay shadows, it won't matter, but...
Yeah.
I mean, Johnson's been... He's
been the lead target getter, though, too, so...
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I think he may have lost that when he got hurt, but either way, I'm so fine with playing Connor, Juju, and Johnson.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but I'm fine with it. Even Big Ben, I don't hate.
Sure. Dolphins, Niners. Niners favored by -8, -375 on the money line. Miami's played a couple of games closer this year than I expected, so we're going to have to see, again with San Francisco. They're finding ways to win games. I'm probably throwing this on the same frickin' parlay as the other 3 teams I just mentioned. But as far as fantasy goes,
there's just not much.
No, it's Gaskin, Devontae Parker, and as far as the Niners go, it's if Mostert's back, then you're starting Mostert and probably McKinnon, who's been the hot hand, and that's it.
For me, just Parker, McKinnon.
You still want to see Debo have a full complement of work before you play Debo, so. Kittle, obviously. Shouldn't have to tell anybody to start Kittle, though.
Let's hope not.
Colts, Browns.
No over-under just yet, so.
Colts, Browns. Colts favored by 2.5. I like the Browns at plus 124 as much as I like this beer.
I don't understand how the Browns aren't favored.
I don't either.
What the loss of Chubb should not swing this enough for the Colts on the road, who looked okay at best against Chicago. I guess Cleveland, who's coming off of back-to-back impressive wins.
When Dan steps all over my beer review transition for actual fantasy analysis on a fantasy football show.
What's that?
I'm giving you shit because I made the transition of I like the Browns money line as much as I like this beer, and you're just like, fuck your beer review. I'm just going to go ahead and give fantasy analysis on this fantasy show, even though you were setting up your transition. Like, swear to God, we've been doing shows, this our 311th episode together, and the chemistry is still not good enough to pick up on the fact that was the part where I do my beer review. Here, you know what? I got a clue for you. Hold on.
Beer review.
I think the chemistry is good enough for that to happen. So
now you don't have to question it. Now you know for sure what I'm doing. All right, Dino S'mores from Off Color. It's an Imperial for sure because I haven't eaten anything since lunch and I'm buzzed. It's pretty good though. You get a lot of dark chocolate notes off of this one. A lot of dark chocolate notes. The marshmallow sweetness comes through on the back end. You feel the sweetness more than you taste it. Like there's a little bit of stickiness on your lips, like you just ate a s'mores or did other unsavory things we won't discuss. But slight sweetness there at the end of it. Graham cracker really doesn't poke out a whole heck of a lot, but dark chocolate is the strongest quality in this beer. Very smooth, very easy drinking. You do not taste the alcohol from it being an Imperial. Leaves you a nice buzz. But yeah, it's a great sipper next to a fire on those cold winter nights. But very, very solid. I like Dino S'mores.
I'm excited to try it.
It's good. Like I said, don't get a whole lot of graham cracker off of it. That's a hard flavor to bring out in a beer anyway. It's a good balance between, the bitterness of a dark chocolate with light marshmallow on the back end. Anyway, Brown's money line. I think we agreed on that before I did the beer review.
That was the first bet I made this week. I put my big bet on it. I still don't get how the Browns aren't at least favored to win this. And if I can get more money on top, I'm taking it.
Yep, I absolutely would as well. Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Chubb's out, so you're not starting Chubb. Kareem Hunt, you're absolutely playing Kareem Hunt. Probably Odell and Landry if you have to.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm not playing Austin Hooper. I'm not playing any of the backup running backs.
No.
Colts have a decent defense, but I expect Cleveland to keep rolling, even with the loss of Chubb.
And I just want to see what they do with Dearness Johnson before I make a full recommendation on that. If you're in dire straits, like if you're the Chubb owner and picked up Dearness Johnson and you have nothing else back there, then yeah, plug him in and play him because he did clearly outtouch Hilliard. So that's going to be an okay bet. Just know that, we're not really sure what to expect or which way this game planning is going to go. If it's going to go to Kareem Hunt, and all the work's going to go to Kareem Hunt because Nick Chubb is not injury prone, so we don't really have a good roadmap for how this is going to be handled, or if most of that work is going to get split back up. Most of Chubb's work is going to go to Dearness Johnson. Giants Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 9.5. The Cowboys are another team that is getting thrown on that damn parlay at negative 450.
I'm definitely not betting the spread. If there's one team that's gonna fuck this up, it's like the Rams did last week. It's gonna be the Cowboys.
Yeah, no, I'm throwing negative 450 on a parlay and calling it good. My super favored parlays. Dallas, I'd expect this is a game where Dak does not have to throw a million times.
We think that.
You think that. Yeah, so Michael Gallup's a bench this week for me, given that. CeeDee Lamb is, if you have better options, you start them this week, given that. You're still okay with Cooper. Zeke is, must plug in and play. Dak, you're not benching him given the tear that he's been on. We will find out this week, knowing how bad the Giants are, just how bad the Cowboys' defense is.
I'll play Darius Slayton, Evan Ingram, nobody else. Dak, Zeke, Lamb, and Cooper.
Yeah.
It may not be a shootout, but it's clear that Dak has a lot of faith and trust in Lamb, especially in Cooper, who's been a fucking tear.
Yeah, and 7 targets is very sustainable. It's the Noah Browns and Cedric Wilsons, and
I don't care about them. As you just said, they don't expect to be thrown as much.
Yeah,
I don't expect them to try to have to. It's going to be more funnel targets.
Well, and that's what I was getting to. Is it's like Dalton Schultz and Cedric Wilson and Noah Brown and those guys that that lack of passing volume is going to affect. I don't think it's really going to be Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I mean, Lamb may have to compete a little bit more for targets for Gallup. I do fully expect Cooper to get his own, which means he's going to suck this week. It's okay. But this could be your get right game for Slayton. I don't know if they'll get Sterling Shepard back or not, but maybe Daniel Jones. Maybe. He's been bad this year. 7 turnovers already. But But again, if this is the defense that is your get right defense, then why not start? Why not play your Daniel Jones, your Darius Slaytons, and your Evan Ingrams?
No, you're right about that. And like I said, just like last Thursday was a measuring stick for just how bad are the Jets with Brett Rippon at quarterback. This is a measuring stick for just how bad are the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So, we got bye weeks this week too, don't we?
Do we?
Yeah, we do.
Week 5. I don't know. Who's on bye this week?
The Broncos for sure.
Anyways.
Yeah, look up bye weeks real quick.
Yeah, we'll start with the Vikings Seahawks. I'll look up bye weeks here.
Yeah, Vikings Seahawks. This should be over under 57.5. Good lord. Seahawks negative 330 on the favorites here. Favored by 7. I don't like the spread.
Bye week is Detroit and Green Bay. Denver is playing New England.
Where the fuck don't I see that?
We probably haven't talked about it. Where is that?
Where is that game?
Did we skip over it? It's just not on here.
Yeah, it's just not here.
It says week 5 they are playing at New England.
You know what? Charger Saints on here? Yeah, Charger Saints is on here. It's a Monday night game. It's just not here. Like, am I losing my mind, or is that game really not present?
Nope, it's just not there. Anyways, Vikings Seahawks. Seahawks are going to win. I think they cover 7. I don't think Minnesota. I just don't see them traveling well.
I'll throw it on the parlay. My super favorite parlay. I'll throw it in the parlay. Yeah, I don't see them traveling well either, though. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook. You're good with. Kirk Cousins, I think you can be fine with this week as a streaming option for the Seahawks. Normal cast of characters: Metcalf, Lockett, Carson, Wilson.
Yeah, this is going to be. I mean, 57.5 is a lot of fucking points. That's a lot of points. And I think Seattle does their part. It's whether or not Kirk Cousins actually travels with the team. By traveling, I mean does his actual football talent show up?
Yep.
That's what's going to be the maker to break it for the over-under.
As long as he pumps in some Creed before the game starts.
Fuck, man. God damn it, Kurt.
Stafford's the only quarterback that's safe from Creed in that division.
So far.
So far. But the other 3, exposed. Chargers Saints. This could go over.
Yeah. Depends.
It kind of depends on the health of Lattimore and Jenkins.
Yeah. Superdome. I don't know if fans are there yet.
They're not.
I just feel it's like it's this. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like any. I don't like the bets. Saints money line. I guess 7.5. I'm okay with. But
yeah.
Not money line spread.
I don't know. Herbert's been good, and the Saints' defense has not been great. So I mean,
I know Stafford threw 3 touchdowns. He only had 200 yards. Like,
well, he only threw what, 20 some odd times.
He did. Either way.
Hold on, I'm gonna look at that because I don't think he had a ton of attempts either. New Orleans, Detroit. Hold on. 17-31. So I mean, he was inefficient. Stafford was from a completion perspective.
Yeah.
Herbert's been pretty efficient, but anyway. Yeah, Keenan Allen. Justin Jackson. Yes. If I'm taking a back here for Chargers Saints. If I'm taking a Chargers back, it's probably Justin Jackson, given how I expect the game script to go.
I'm just not going to play a running back. I mean, we said that, and Josh Kelly still had one more targeted and catch than them, and then Justin Jackson. I'm fine with being Ron. I don't want to have to on Monday night have that be sitting in the back of my mind, should I play Justin Jackson this week?
I'm going to put it in the back of everybody's mind. You should play Justin Jackson this week. I'm calling it. I'm trying not to make this too run-of-the-mill, so I'm calling Justin Jackson this week. I think that it's a game script that's going to benefit him. I'm
fine with it.
As far as the Saints go, it's been really Kamara. It's been Kamara the last 2 weeks that has been the most surefire option. Yeah, you probably have a relatively safe bet in Latavius Murray this week, because I do expect that this game script tilts. It's going to be towards the Saints. As far as Sanders and Traquan Smith, I would steer clear of both. I don't know that they're going to have to get too worked in.
Yeah, you can't expect the Saints to be down, 2 touchdowns in the first quarter because of a turnover. So I'm with you there. I don't think you need to get cute. If I'm playing one or the other,
Sanders had the target volume. It's probably Sanders if I'm playing one or the other.
Yeah, I'm not in love with both, but we'll see if Cook's back this week or not too.
Sure.
If that makes a difference. Hunter Henry, I still don't mind. It's an off week for him. He only had 3 targets, but he had 8 and 6 with homeboy before. So.
Yep.
I think that's it.
That's our show. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back at some point next week. We'll discuss who's going to handle Sunday live stream once we drop off here. So, thank you. Appreciate you all. Again, good to see some new faces and old faces. Darren, Colton, thank you very much as normal. And we will see you next week. I am at Hot BFF. He is at Thurry BFF, at Beerfield FF on Twitter, Beerfield Fantasy Football everywhere else. Last show with this setup. You can see the moving box behind me and nothing on my walls that would normally be there. See ya.
Yeah.
Now I got to remember how to close the show. It's an Imperial, man.
Love it.